Hello and welcome to this episode of Hampton Roads Business Live. My name is Rory Graham and I'm your host, and today I have the pleasure of having with me Sherwin Gaddis from Open EMR in Chesapeake. Welcome.
Thank you.
Let's start off with what is Open EMR, because I'm sure most people like me have no clue.
Oh, well, Open EMR is an electronic medical record practice management software package, which sounds like a mouthful, but it does the electronic medical records as well as the practice management side of a medical practice.
Okay, and I know from speaking to you before this that this is actually a free software.
Yes, it is. Anyone can go to openemr.org and download the software, or you can find it on GitHub. If you're a little techie, you know what GitHub is, and you can go out and find the source code and download it and use it. Anyone with a little bit of tech savvy should be able to install it, use it. Usually they can be up and running within about 2 hours of downloading the software.
Okay. All right. So, of course, because it's free, is it any good?
Well, and that's the thing I get asked the most, because, of course, most people are familiar with free software, and free software hardly ever does what you want it to, but sometimes it can let you get by. But truly, it is a free package, and it does, and there's nothing held back, because sometimes when you download something free off the web, you think that, okay, they'll let you go full far, and then they say, okay, now if you want to do this, you got to pay for it. Right. Well, no, it's fully functional, out of the box. It does everything that it says it can out of the box.
Okay, all right. So now, how do you make your money?
Well, that's the tricky part. Right. But because I'm listed, if you look under support, you'll find that in the software, when you go to help and about and support, you'll find professional support providers. And we're listed there under the professional support providers and code contributors to the project. So when people are looking for help, now granted, there is free help as well, but let's say someone wants to design a new module, and that's one of the things that makes this software package unique, in that anyone can download it and decide they want to add something to it or change something about it. Then that's where they would contact me, and then we would be a part of making that change for them as coders.
Okay, all right. And so what kind of practices would use this?
It would be easier for me to tell you which practice does not. Okay. And the only one that doesn't have we don't work with very well is a dentist office. But if you're an anesthesiologist, if you're a cardiologist, if you're just a PC, then those are the type of practices that, I know, ophthalmology last year. Last year we added an ophthalmology section, which this was from a doctor in Florida. And we have a lot of doctors that are involved in the project as well that help guide and also shape what goes into the software.
Okay, all right. And so what are the strong points and the weak points about this product?
The strongest point about it is you own the software. So when you download it and put it onto your local machine and your server, the data becomes yours. Health data has become a big commodity in the last, let's say, 10, 15 years, especially since the Affordable Care Act. And all this data going into the cloud, and it's like, well, who owns the data? And a lot of times it's a big question, especially with all the packages that are out there. Well, on this one, you own the data when you put it onto your machine. So that's one of the strongest points about it, is that you own your data and that you own the software and that you're in full control of it versus someone else being in control of it. Whereas the weakest point I can think of is that we don't look as pretty as some of the others, but we have foregone being pretty over functionality. Even though we've made some strides in changing the user interface to make it more palatable, meaning that when you look at it, well, it's something good to look at. But that would be to me, the weakest point that we have. But however, we are currently in the midst of rewriting and upgrading the user interface so that it does look more modern.
Okay, and so what is your relationship with Open EMR? Because it sounds like you're really involved.
Yes, I got involved with the board of directors about 1.5 years ago, and being a part of the governing body that directs and which way the software is going, what we're going to add to it, what features are going to come out, and keeping the group, because we have a loose group of people, companies that provide code or contribute to code to the project. And of course, reviewing that code and making sure that it's up to the current standards and bringing it in and making it a part of the overall package is one role that I have. And the other role, of course, is being a developer and being able to interface with companies, whether they be a solo practitioner or a group of doctors, and either managing in the cloud for them, because we have a client that's in the Cayman Islands. And they came to us about 2 years ago and said, hey, you know, we want this in the cloud, but we don't want our in-house tech to take care of it. Can you do this for us? And so we put it up on the AWS for them, and we've been managing it ever since.
Okay, so you can actually work with any practice anywhere in the world.
Correct.
Right.
Yes, we're not just limited to here in the U.S. because this software package, you know, it gets about 9,000 to 10,000 downloads a month, and that's worldwide. And so we have people that are in all parts of the world using Open EMR.
Okay, all right. So if someone wanted to take advantage of this, would they need to contact you, or they could just get the software first and then contact you if they have something they want to do, or what's the process?
Well, for those that are just hearing about this right now and say, I want to see what this is like, well, you can do one of two things. You can go to the Open EMR, it's open-emr.org, and go to the download page. And again, this requires you to be a little techie to download the installation. But also, there are demos on there as well that are fully functioning demos. So you can click on the demo link and go in and do anything that you think you would want to do, as scheduling a patient, putting a patient's chart in, going through the whole process.
So you can see how it would work for your practice.
Correct. See, and do everything that is in there. So those are your first two steps. And then if you're not that tech savvy, then look us up, give us a call, and then we can help you out.
Okay. Is there anything I haven't covered? Because I've covered my question. Anything else you want to mention?
The only other thing that I could think to mention is that even though you asked earlier, how do we make money? When I got involved with Open EMR, it's because I have found it in a medical journal, and in our tech service to other companies, because we are a tech company as well that go out and have private customers that we do IT work for. But we had a doctor's office that asked me, at the time, this was in 2010, hey, we need an EMR, and I'm going like, what's that? And so when I figured out what it was and I started looking through medical journals, I found a write-up about this software in there. And that's how I got started with it. And ever since then, we wanted to continue to help doctors. So there are doctors in the areas and around the world that we provide the software to. We support it for them. It depends on their economic status, especially those that are trying to do community service work, or they are a community practice. We will help them without charge. And so there are some doctors here locally that we host the software for, and we don't charge them anything for it.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's great. All right. So if you have a practice that you think could benefit from this, or you're just a little curious, you can certainly connect with Sherwin and check out Open EMR. The contact information is at the bottom of this page, and it's also at the end of this video. And I'm sure you'll find the information to be informative. If you have any questions, I'm sure you can certainly ask Sherwin. He seems to know all about it. Well, thank you very much for coming in, and this is interesting. I had no clue as to what this was, but it was interesting to learn, and I wish you continued success.
Well, glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you.